Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. We are here ahead of Matchday 3 for the Champions League Fantasy. Of course, we're going to start off with my team, how it got on in Matchday 2. We decided to play that Limitless chip and it went extremely well, as you can see on screen right now. We pretty much absolutely smashed it out of the park with a lot of our picks. There was a few that, of course, didn't quite hit the mark. Obviously, Vinny Jr. over a defender didn't quite work out, with obviously Dean Huijsen doing exceptionally well in terms of his scoring. Salah as well, only coming off the bench. Again, another one that didn't quite work out. But as you can see, our lowest scoring player was actually two players with 4 points. So 125 points in game week 2 shot us up to 19k. This week, we're going to be wildcarding. Obviously, we built pretty much two basically free hit teams, obviously in game week 1, just solely focusing on the fixtures there. Game week 2, obviously the Limitless. We've now got that same team that we had in match day 1. So we're going to be looking to wildcard out of that. Of course, as well, we're going to be, trying to build a sustainable team as well, with us not having the wildcard or Limitless as well. So it's going to be a little bit more of a bit of a deep planning, looking at some kind of players and teams that have good fixtures coming up. But I'm really happy that we did use the Limitless in match day 2, because as you can see, it went very, very well indeed. Before we, of course, dive into my wildcard team, I'd like to take a look at the projected data for the next few weeks. I do this with FPL, I do this with, of course, UCL Fantasy as well, and it's just a really nice tool to make sure that you are on the right path and, of course, targeting the correct teams that have those decent projected numbers. This data is coming from FPL Shaden. If you want to go and check it out, I will leave a link to his Discord in the description. Some absolutely amazing stuff that, of course, he posts on there. There's a model that, of course, you can pay for. There's all this data as well, which is just really useful. So if you're very much into your Champions League fantasy, I would highly recommend checking out his Patreon. Again, link in the description for that. Taking a look then first at the clean sheet numbers. There isn't an updated graph out yet for match day 3 to match day 8. So do exclude, of course, match day 2 from this table. But everyone else, as you can see here, Arsenal are looking really, really good. And if you've watched them in the Premier League, they just look an amazing defence this season. And my wildcard team at the moment doesn't have any Arsenal defenders in there. And I do think it could be a little bit of an oversight. I think going for Gabriel, going for Arsenal as well, who've managed to score 8 goals from set plays so far in the Premier League, just feels like something I need to be taking full advantage of over the next few weeks. Napoli as well, there's some really good projected clean sheet numbers coming up for them. So I think the picks like Di Lorenzo definitely is going to be a wise investment for the wild card. Chelsea as well, looking like a pretty solid team over the next few weeks. Of course, we're going to have to manage match day 5 and match day 8 with some more difficult fixtures, but maybe somebody like a Chalobah, who is seeing very, very good minutes. Reece James, who seems to be finding his form within the Premier League as well, could be a pretty decent player to go for. Bayern, obviously match day 3 is probably their last good fixture, then they're heading into some difficult games ahead of 4 and 5. So I think for my team, probably not going to be worth an investment on the wildcard, because we will be booking in a transfer a little bit later on. I think probably looking at match day 6 to obviously kind of invest into Bayern assets. Upamecano, who is such a ball recovery fiend, is probably going to be the right play for me. Inter as well, I think we're going to still invest in them, because the next two are just absolutely ridiculous. And as you can see there, one of the best projected numbers for clean sheets over the next few weeks with that 0.71. It's actually the second best. Arsenal only beat that with their match day 8 fixture of 0.77. So some absolutely cracking fixtures coming up for them over the next few weeks as well. In terms of some other teams, I think maybe we should potentially be taking a look at Atletico Madrid for future weeks as well. Have some decent fixtures and some decent projected numbers. Same with Juventus once they get the Real Madrid fixture out of the way. Again, probably another one I would be looking to invest into. Barcelona as well have some pretty decent fixtures, maybe where you could find some, of course, potential investment opportunities as well. So that's the clean sheet numbers. Let's head over to the projected goal numbers then. This is where we're, of course, going to be looking for the attacks. We want to be, of course, looking to kind of, bank on. Match day 3, the highest is going to be for Bayern Munich, with a very, very good fixture for them. So Elise, Kane, of course, going to be right up there as possible transfer targets for this week. Of course, more difficult fixtures in game week 4 and game week 5. However, 6, 7 and 8, they do pick back up. And I do think the form that Kane and Elise are in this season, you could very easily play them in those more difficult fixtures anyway, and they would still be pretty decent value. We're seeing some good results coming up for Barca as well. It is a shame that Rafinha isn't looking likely that he's going to be available for match day 3. I was looking at going on that kind of wildcard double up of Rafinha and Yamal. Yamal's back playing, so at least we can go for him, but it would have been nice to have both of those guys within my side. Liverpool's numbers are looking pretty decent, but at the moment they just seem like a team in the Premier League that are struggling for a little bit of confidence, and I'm really unsure like what the best opportunity and investment strategy is going to be for some of their players. City as well, they've got some great fixtures coming up. Obviously, their matchday 4, matchday 7, and matchday 8 are the big ones we need to be taking full advantage of. And I've actually got Haaland in my wildcard team, as we'll see in a second, because the form that the guy's in at the moment is just absolutely ridiculous. And I do think he's just a bit broken, isn't he? And I do think we need to take, of course, full advantage of that. We're going to still probably have some Inter players. The next 2 fixtures are very good as well, 1.72, but the big standout being in matchday 4 with that 3.3. I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 better projected goal numbers in here. I think it is in matchday 8 with Arsenal again with 3.53. But other than that, again, it's another standout fixture, and again, another one where I really think we want to be looking to target. I've also looked at some Galatasaray players as well. A great fixture this week with a 2.48. They've also got some pretty steady fixtures across the board, to be honest. So definitely a side I want to kind of have a little bit of slice of, a little bit of investment into as well. Those are the projected numbers. Of course, like I said, if you want to go and take a look at that, there will be a link in the description. But let's go and dive into my wildcard team selection ahead of matchday 3. Now, before we dive into my wildcard team selection, of course, if you do enjoy the Champions League content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know that you want to see more of this in the comments as well. Any dilemmas, get them in. Like the video, subscribe, all good stuff. As well, if you are going to subscribe, make sure to subscribe with bell notifications on, as I will be live on Tuesday afternoon for the deadline stream, talking through my wildcard team and any potential changes that I might make from this video. Let's start off first then with our defense and goalkeepers. We've gone for Luis Jr. and the Atalanta goalkeeper. Starting off first with Luis Jr. Looks like he might be one of the potential 4 million playing goalkeepers. Missed the last match in match day 2. I'm going to have to do a little bit more of deep dive into Villarreal and make sure that he is 100% playing, but I do want to kind of just have a cheap goalkeeper setup. I want to be obviously putting as much money into the bigger scoring positions, the defense, the midfield, and the attack. So I am trying to find a cheap budget goalkeeper, and at the moment he's kind of been the standout one for me. I'm just going to have a quick check, make sure he played in the last game. Yeah, played in their game on the 27th of September as well against Athletic Club, so he is playing games, so hopefully he can be their first choice goalkeeper at 4 million. If there are any Villarreal fans, let me know in the comments, is this guy completely nailed? Because looking at it, it's kind of a little bit hit and miss, but for 4 million I don't mind that too much, because we do have the Atalanta goalkeeper and their fixtures are very, very good over the next few weeks as well. They've obviously got Slavia Prague this week. They've got Marseille, Frankfurt. That's a good set of fixtures where I wouldn't be, expecting the world, but if you could maybe come away with a couple clean sheets across that time period, I don't mind picking him up for that 4.6 million price tag. I think that is just a pretty good deal. Heading into the defense, we saw Inter's next 2 fixtures are looking very good, not only from a defensive perspective, but also an attacking perspective. And one of the key culprits for that is, of course, going to be Denzel Dumfries, who is just an absolute legend in this game, isn't he? Like, he's just honestly just one of those players that is just a bit of a joke, to be honest. 1 goal scored so far. The ball recoveries have been okay, just 6, but it is those 2 clean sheets, and it's the attacking potential he's had so far this year that really makes him stand out. Next up is going to be Benashebi. I've probably absolutely butchered that. I'm going to try again. Benashabi. Honestly, somebody let me know in the comments how you pronounce that one. A penalty-taking defender from Borussia Dortmund for 4.6 million. Again, they've got some pretty okay fixtures, but for 4.6, getting a guy that can hit those ball recovery numbers and also has the potential for penalties just sounds like something I really want to be signed up for. They've got Copenhagen this game week, so a pretty decent fixture. Next week, City, so not an easy one. But then they've got Villarreal, Bodø/Glimt, Tottenham as their next set of fixtures. Very much like decent clean sheet potential over that time period as well. The Villarreal and Bodø/Glimt games are both at home, so for me, again, just does feel like really good investable opportunities. We saw on the last section with the data that the clean sheet numbers are looking good for Napoli, and Di Lorenzo is massively underperforming so far on his underlying numbers out in Serie A. I think he's at like 1.8 XGI so far this season has been very unfortunate not to have come away with any attacking returns so far this campaign, but with some good fixtures coming up for Napoli, their clean sheet numbers looking really, really good on the market numbers as well. I think it is just going to be a smart investment. Same goes with Grimaldo as well. Like, the fixtures ain't there. Like, they're bad. Let me just quickly bring up some of these and read them out for you. PSG, Benfica, City, Newcastle, Olympiacos, Villarreal. They get better towards the end, probably after the Newcastle game, but the next three I would say are quite difficult. Like, the only home fixture being at PSG as well, not ideal. However, what you were getting with Grimaldo is not worth the clean sheets. This guy is an absolute joke. Assists, goals, he's already got, I think he got a double at the weekend, one of them being a penalty, by the way. So again, we've got ourselves another penalty taking defender. He also takes free kicks. He also takes corners. So we're getting a guy that has got so many kind of avenues to points. Why would you not look to fully exploit that? He is a little bit pricey at 6 million, but like I said, if he could go off and really, really do some damage, he could be an absolutely fantastic asset that a lot of people, I think, will probably overlook if they just look at the fixtures. My final defender is going to be Eric Dyer. Now, again, his minutes seem a little bit dicey across the Ligue 1 season, but for 4.5 million, again, we've got a guy who got a 10-pointer against Manchester City because he took the penalty. Now, Ansu Fati scored 2 penalties a few weeks ago. It looks like he is the #1 penalty taker for this side and might be a player I want to consider going forward anyway, because I'm a little bit of a slut for penalty takers. But you look at the Monaco fixtures coming up. Tottenham, Bodo Glimt, Paphos and Galatasaray is their next run. It's good games where you could see them maybe winning a couple of them across the board. Now, if he's going to be the penalty taker when Ansu Fati isn't on the pitch, then I think it is worth just selecting him for 4.5. There's some good fixtures in there. If we can get him like confirmed nailed, then of course, you know, he's going to be a decent option. Otherwise, we might look, of course, at some other Monaco defenders, because like I said, for the price you are going to be paying for some of these guys, there are some good fixtures where you do expect probably a few clean sheets across the way. Let's head into the midfield then. First up is going to be Yamal. We saw the Barcelona numbers are looking pretty decent over the next few weeks, and if you look at the fixtures, especially the next two, Olympiacos and Bruges, definitely attackable kind of material. You think as well we are going to see that Barcelona lineup for the 21st as well. You know, we're going to find out if Yamal, if Rafinha is going to be within that lineup as well. So I think that puts us in a pretty good place where I can, of course, make any kind of last minute decisions on whether or not I want to go for Yamal, whether or not I want to go for Rafinha as well, and potentially give one of these guys the armband as well. Now, Yamal did play at the weekend, so I'm hoping that he is going to be fit and available, because like I said, Olympiacos, Bruges is the next one, Chelsea and Frankfurt after that. Still very, very good investable fixtures for Barcelona. Now, Anthony Gordon is in here off the back of his last performance within the Champions League, where he scored 2 penalties. He is the penalty taker for Newcastle United. My only concern I do have around him is going to be minutes. That is the big concern. We've seen in the Premier League probably getting substituted around the 70th minute. For me, I do like players that have a lot more concrete minutes, and that is probably my only concern with Anthony Gordon. However, the fixtures coming up are just very, very good. Benfica at home, Atletico Bilbao, Marseille, Leverkusen, PSV, all very winnable games for Newcastle United if they want to progress to the next round of this Champions League. And Anthony Gordon or Woltemade do feel like very, very big parts of that. And I think I'll probably just edge towards Anthony Gordon, given his penalty appeal. Çalhanoğlu, again, another player, set pieces galore, penalties galore. The next 2 fixtures are great. And of course, that Matchday 4 fixture is where we're going to be fully focusing on him. Güler, for the price we're paying of 6 million, just feels like a really, really good and cheap way into Real Madrid. Their fixtures do tail off. However, I still think they're probably going to win some games, and I do feel like Güler is definitely going to have a massive part in that. He just looked like in the last game in Matchday 2 was just kind of connecting all the dots and putting everything together, and was very unfortunate not to have come away with a better score, in my opinion. Now, he just, again, for me, does feel like one of those players that for that 6 million price tag just feels like really good value. I don't think there's probably any better value picks in the game at that 6 million price tag for me personally. I would like Enzo Fernandez, and he is a player that I have looked at. With, of course, Palmer being out, that would mean that he is the penalty taker for this side and would probably see very good minutes. But with him missing out at the weekend, probably doesn't mean he's going to be available for match day 3, because Chelsea do have some pretty good fixtures coming up. Michael Olise is going to be in there. Like I said, he gives us a decent captaincy option for the Wednesday games as well. He's just absolutely on fire, smoke at the moment. The next fixture as well for Bayern Munich is just good, isn't it? You know, they've got Bruges. Who have they got after that? Bruges, PSG, Arsenal will probably look to offload him. But like I said, just given the form that he's in right now, like, he just does feel a little bit of an unstoppable pick. And again, for 8 million, like, this guy should probably be priced very similar to, like, Yamal, Rafinha levels. The fact that we can pick him up for 8 million does just make him a little bit of a game breaker for me personally. Let's move on then to our forwards. And we've got Haaland, Osimhen, and Julian Alvarez. Now, we're going to start off with Haaland. I mean, if you play an FPL, you know that this guy is completely breaking the game right now and is just absolutely smashing it apart. I've got him the captaincy armband as well, because I do just feel like he's probably going to smash it over the next few weeks. I did originally have Kylian Mbappe in here, and I still think Kylian Mbappe is a great option. But looking at the fixtures coming up, Villarreal, Dortmund, and Leverkusen. Right, they're good games. They're very, very investable games for Haaland, who, just like I said, does feel a little bit unstoppable, especially after his 13-pointer against Monaco in match day 2 as well. You also look, and he probably is one of the standout captaincy options for this first day. Of course, Yamal and Rafinha, if they're in the side, definitely will be great options to go for as well. But I just think for the next few, up against his old club Dortmund as well, where he did score the last time these two sides played as well, just feels like he's one of those picks at the moment, just feels a little bit unstoppable. Osimhen's in here, and the reason that I've selected him, and I am looking at Galatasaray players across the board, is because their fixtures are just very good. Boda, Ajax, who've been extremely poor in the Champions League. Then they've got Union Saint-Gilloise, and then Monaco. It's a good investable period for Galatasaray. They showed they've got that quality as well. Osimhen did as well, 10-pointer. He's a penalty taker as well. That is what I like to see. The big concern I have is minutes with him. Like, they're so choppy, so dicey. But he is a player that has caught my eye, and definitely someone I am thinking about bringing in. Whether or not he is going to remain in this pick come the deadline, because there are so many high-quality forwards within the game, is yet to be seen. But there are some great fixtures coming up for him, and of course Galatasaray. My final player is going to be Julian Alvarez. This is pretty much off the back of his big 15-pointer. It's not a great fixture in match day 3, but then they've got Union, Inter, PSV. There are just some good games in there for Athletic. They finished the group with Galatasaray and Boda Glimt. Again, you're getting yourself a penalty taker, and the guy is just very good. But he is just insane at times, as Julian Alvarez, and can have those big peaks. We've already seen it in some games in La Liga this season already, and I'm hoping that he can bring that to the Champions League. That is my wildcard team then, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments section below. Of course, I'm going to be tinkering over the next few days. When you want to see the final team will be on my deadline stream, so make sure you're coming over. Make sure as well, if you are new to the channel, you're hitting that subscribe button, and the best of luck in match day 3.